You guys, I have been so excited to get Blanca in here for the longest time. So let me give you some backstory here about Blanca. All right, so Blanca cuts my hair over at Muse, right? I actually have to sometimes hype myself up to go get my hair cut. And here's why. Blanca has never had a bad day in her life.
I can tell the moment you walked in studio. And full disclosure, I had no idea you were a hairdresser, so I really wasn't blowing smoke up your butt when I found out about it. Like when I complimented your hair, I didn't even know that's what you did for a living.
Your energy is up.
That's
though.
what I do.
Right.
And I love what I do so much, because I love people. I love to have somebody in my chair and taking care of that, person. I really enjoy so much what I do. I have a lot of fun. So my guests, they have a lot of fun with me also.
This is what I'm telling you about her, right? So there are just some days, she's in Johns Creek, I'm in Sandy Springs, so it takes me like 40 minutes to get up there, right?
Oh, that's dedication to a
It is
stylist.
dedication, right? Well, it's this attitude. First of all, I know that she'd haunt me if I stopped seeing her. And secondly, it's just that it's guaranteed to be a mood changer when I go to see her. And when I'm saying I got to hype myself up, there are some times where I'm just like tired or I've just woken up from a nap and you got that brain fog. And when I go to see Blanca, I know it's going to be like this tidal wave of positivity and I have to hype myself up for it. And I'm always, whenever I leave there, I'm always in the best mood.
Yes, because, that's part of, not my job, but that's something that I love to do, my past life made me the person that I am now. So I feed my mind every single day with a positive, mindset. That's what I do every single morning. I don't listen to news at all. Because, the news, they're like full of really negative things. And I don't want to have that in my mind. I want to, just give the positive to other people, especially working with other people. So, I have to be that person that I want to bring joy to others. So that's what I do.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Blanca's in here because it's the tail end of Hispanic Heritage Month, and I know she has so much pride in her heritage, but also pride in the U.S., and we talk a lot about it. So before we even get into that, I was so intrigued by her story from back in the day. I want her to share that, but also share with them how you started learning English in the United States.
Let me tell you this. This is so crazy because, I still have a really thick accent.
Can barely tell.
I didn't notice at all.
Can barely hear it.
Oh my God. I have, if someone calls a music salon and say, I want the hairdresser with the thick accent, they will know who that person is because guess what? It's going to be this. I'm the only one with a thick accent over there that will be, hey, how are you today? So, I'm always like that because, it's okay to be different.
Yeah,
you know what?
Absolutely.
I was always kind of embarrassed to be like, oh my God, my accent, I don't want to talk because people, they're going to make fun of me until one day I'm like, hey, stop that. That's who I am. So I'm Blanca from Honduras with a thick accent. Who cares? Right?
So how did you learn English?
Well, I started listening to the Bert show.
Shut up.
Yes.
We did not
Yes.
teach you.
I started listening to you guys because I was like, you know what? I want to get used to to listen and learn new words. And that's how it started. Who's going to say that one day I will meet Bert in person? Not only that, I will be cutting his hair.
Right? I come into Muse and she didn't know that I was Bert from the Bert Show and she'd been listening for how long?
Oh my God. I've been in Muse for almost 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
And so I show up there and she's like, oh my God, you're Bert. I learned English from you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's crazy, sometimes how we connect with people but I 100% believe that that's what you attract, you attract people into you when you have that mindset and all of that. I'm so lucky to have really nice people around me that I love that, oh my God, make my world so much better and happy. So
do you know how hard I try sometimes to pull any gossip out of her, anything negative, and she never bites?
No.
Never. Not one time. She's the most positive person I've ever met, ever. So I'm sitting in the chair, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well.
Yes.
We've gone through a lot of stuff together the last 5 years, right? A lot of life. And her story of how she started from Honduras and working so hard to get into the United States with a baby on hip is so intriguing to me that I really thought this would be a great way to end Hispanic Heritage Month, because not only is she so proud of where she's from, the struggle to get here and how hard she worked to get here, and then Also, I want to talk about the attitude that you see from people that didn't come from where you did and how we might take it for granted. So let's start with your journey from Honduras.
Okay, let me start telling you a little bit about myself and my family. So I'm coming from a family of 7. I'm the middle child.
Wow.
But my family, it was like 23 of us living all together.
Wow.
So we used to,
Did you say 23 under
23,
one roof?
because my dad, he was raising also my mom's siblings, and we used to have, everyone in our house, like living all together. So we used to sleep I think 3 persons in the same bed, sometimes 4.
Wow.
So we were very, I don't want to say poor family, but very we had not too much, I never knew what it was like to have a Christmas present and a birthday present, never had a cake for my birthday, never knew clothes. But you know what? I didn't care about all of that because I never had it, so I didn't miss that. So the most important thing for all of us was to have food on our table. Because remember, going to school, because over there we don't have, free meals. So if you want to eat something in school, you have to buy it. So we don't have the money for that. So, most of the time I was so hungry. Probably that's why I'm so short, because most of the time I was so hungry. But you know what? Even despite all of that, I finished my high school in Honduras. Many times I had to walk 5 miles or even more because I don't have the money to my transportation. So we don't have all of that.
So you walk 5 miles to school, 5 miles back at the end of school? And this is from what age to what age?
I was, oh my God, maybe 12. Because, over there in Honduras, I remember I learned to make tortillas since I was maybe 6 years old, because you have to help around the house. Mm-hmm. Especially having a big family, you have to help all of that. One thing that I always say, because I learned how to survive with no power, no electricity, no running water and all of that, I can survive if something like that happens. So I'm like, I got this. I don't care if I go back to all of that. I got this. I can survive with that. So, okay, after that, I finished my high school, start working. So, same thing. You have to for you to catch up the bus, you have to walk a lot, even 3 miles back and forth. So, I became a mom when I was 19. So I was so young, and stupid probably, but you know what? That's the best thing that ever happened to me. But one day coming from work, that's when something bad happened to me. So 3 men, they stopped me, and one of them, he pulled a gun and pointed to my head. And, they started touching me very inappropriate way. Now that I'm thinking, I'm God was with me, protecting me, because they didn't kill me. They let me go finally after everything. So I decided to, you know what? I don't want this ever happens to me again, or my daughter for that matter, because she was so young. So applying for a visa in Honduras is really hard. If you don't have the money, all the possibilities, like a huge bank account or properties or cars, there is no way you can get a visa to come to the United States. Guess what? So I have to do it the wrong way. I have to, take the decision to do it illegally. So I was 23. My daughter was 3 years old when I decided, you know what? I wanted something different for her. I wanted a better life for her. So we start walking. I told my daughter, I remember, hey, you know what? Something happened to us. Don't cry, okay? We're going to be together. Don't cry. Everything is going to be fine. So, we're going to hug each other and we're going to be fine. So we walk. We cross Guatemala for 2 days. So we have to cross the river to get to Mexico, and it was kind of hard. So this man was like, you know what? I can help you with that. So the only thing is we have to cross the river in a small boat that they used to cross, transport corn. So, but they have to cover the boat with a thick plastic, thing on top.
A tarp.
Yes. So I was like, well, if that's the only way, I'll do it.
So you're in this little boat underneath tarp with corn all around you, and your 3-year-old daughter at the time? 3-year-old daughter.
So I remember she crying and saying, Mom, I cannot breathe. And I'm like, okay, honey. So I remember making a small hole so she can stick her nose out and start breathing. So we were there for maybe around 40 minutes in that boat. Oh, God, we were so sweating after, we got to the other side to Mexico. Mexico, we stayed, going from place to place. Like, we used to walk through the night because I don't want to get caught and, go back to Honduras because I know Honduras is so risky, honestly. I was like, you know what? I was used to carry my daughter on my back, and I'm like, honey, hold on, okay? Hold it really tight. I don't want you to fall. And if we fall, don't cry because you don't want to make a noise and people to know that, we're doing this. So, we walk. We used to ask for money because we don't have much. One point in Mexico, somebody robbed us and took everything, our money, everything. So I didn't have money for food or anything. So finally, that they came. So when it was, oh my God, so I was on a border, I was seeing U.S. was the other side. I got so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So finally, after 23 days, we crossed the border. So I have to go to a river again. So I don't know how to swim, but you know what? I was so brave because I was like, even though I don't know how to swim, I have to cross this river because you know what? My dream was big. And plus, I have my daughter with me. I'm like, you know what? I will be brave and we're going to survive and we're going to get to the other side. So, yeah, we crossed the river. I was so scared. Inside of me, I was dying because I was so scared to go through the river and crossing Mexico and U.S. is really difficult. It's really hard because, there is a lot of stones and they're so slippery. And it's really hard. But yeah, finally I got into the United States.
So that river was the border between Mexico and the United States. So if you can get through this river with baby in your arm while you're holding your head up, trying to get air, if you could just make it through this river, then you're in the United States.
Exactly.
It's like you're so close, but you're so far at the same time.
Yes. So I was, finally on the other side. So you know what? We don't have no clothes, nothing. Our clothes was so wet. We have nothing. I remember getting into the United States with a plastic bag in my toothbrush, and that was it. Nothing else. So I called somebody to if that person can help me, send me some money so that, I can get some food and that way I can come to Atlanta. So they sent me money. So I remember I took the Greyhound. I think it's the Greyhound. Okay, the bus for 2 days. And finally I got into Atlanta. I love Georgia. It's so special to me, especially after everything I went through. So I started my life. No English, not even this broken English or thick English. I didn't have nothing. I didn't even know the numbers back then. So I started working in a poultry plant. It was so hard.
This is in Gainesville?
Yes, in Gainesville, because I still living in Gainesville. I love Gainesville. I'm like, this is special. So I, 5 years I struggle again here. So I went through a lot again. I was homeless at a point, and this time with 2 babies because I had my daughter and my son who was I think 4 months, and homeless again. I'm like, okay, here we go. And, the fact that when you don't have that support, when you don't have family, it's even harder. And back then I didn't even have, papers. So it was so hard for a single mom to be homeless, 2 kids, and it was really tough. But you know what? When you have kids, I feel like that push you to do the best. And, I'm like, you know what? I have to keep moving. And until, I found Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
She's my biggest support, my biggest friend. So everything, any crazy idea that I have in my mind, if I want to do something, she's always there for me, to support my dreams. I went to school. I got my GED here because she pushed me, go go to school. And then she was like, go get your cosmetology diploma and da-da-da. I was like, she's crazy. You know what? I don't know English. I don't know how we'll do that because that's so hard. But she pushed me, and then she was like, yeah, you're going, to college after I got finally my green card back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
My first time going back to my country. You know how excited that is, like, after so many years.
I bet it was surreal. Mm-hmm. Like, it probably seems like it was yesterday, but also a million years ago at the same time, right?
Yes, and it's crazy because... You know what? I'm like, this year is going to be 22 years since I came from Honduras.
Since you left on foot.
Yes.
That is incredibly inspiring.
Right?
That I came in, you know what? I came to this beautiful country. I think if I have to do that again, I will do it. I love this country so much because this country has gave me, a lot of blessings. The life that I have now, I never dreamed to have, this life. We always joke. I'm like, Bert, I'm so rich. I'm so rich, but I don't see it, the fact of having like a lot of money. I'm so rich because, I have health. I have, a house where I can go and I can call home. I have food on my table. I have many things that I can call myself, I'm so rich. I don't need like a huge bank account to call myself that I'm rich. I'm so blessed. I have many people that I love. I have many people that have, helped me through the way, my path. And I'm so grateful. So, I choose to be positive and to be happy. I don't want to, live in the past, even despite everything I went through, because I went through crazy stuff since I was, since I remember, since I was little, I went through a lot of stuff. But I don't want to live in the past. I want to be grateful, and I want to be positive, and I want to give love to people, because especially when you go through that many negative stuff, you don't want to live in that. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be mean to people because you know how it feels to be in that position. So I choose to give love to others because that made me feel good inside, and that made me feel happy. So, I love it. I love where I am now. I really love my career. I really love what I do.
And then you get to cut this guy's hair.
I know.
She's the one that told me, get the dye out of your hair.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
I was like, no. One day I was like, Bert, you know what? Let's stop coloring your hair. You know
Enough.
what? Let's do that. You know what? That was the best decision. Look at his hair.
Team salt and pepper all the way.
How do you say no to this, right? Hey, I want to go back real quick, just 1 second before we go forward, because your story, it takes a lot to get me to tear up now, and you did that this morning. I want to talk about the moment where you crossed that river with your daughter in hand and you made it across the United States, and now you're safe and you're taking a breath in the United States. Take us back to that moment, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, because now it's an entirely new life in front of you.
Yes. Oh my God. When I was in that river, I think I can still, live in that. I feel like sometimes I have PTSD with that. Especially I'm scared to water like I said, I don't know how to swim. But in my mind was, my God, my life is going to be so much better. I will be able to help my family. I will be able to do this for my daughter. She's going to have a, better life. And guess what? She was the first one going to college and graduate, getting a degree from college in my family. She's the first one doing that. So now my son also is doing that. So he's doing computer science. He's going to be the second one in my family because no one in my family never went to college. So God, you know what? If you're not grateful, getting all that blessings, I don't know what else, you need to be grateful. So, but yeah, that's why, when I was crossing the river, I was like, you know what? Yeah, my life is going to be so much better. I feel I'm safe. You know what? Now I'm like, I can go to sleep and I feel safe. I'm not worried about, oh my God, something is going to happen to me. I can go outside and walk and I'm not scared to like somebody's going to attack me and do something to me. So I feel safe, Bert. I feel safe in here.
And the reason why I wanted Blanca to come in today is her story is similar to hundreds of thousands of now Americans that came in from Latino and Hispanic countries and have this kind of perspective. You know, this is still the land of freedom for the rest of the world. But when we're living here and we're growing up in it, you and I have had so many conversations about this, you tend to take it for granted. And from time to time, you need a Blanca in your life to make sure that you're checking yourself and knowing how truly gifted we are.
Honestly, because sometimes, you know, I remember when I became U.S. citizen, like 2 years ago, somebody told me like, oh, congratulations, but honestly, it's nothing in here. I was like, nothing. In this country, in this beautiful country, is a lot of things that, you know what, now, even myself, I feel spoiled in this country. You know what, there, like, I was like maybe 6 years old going to school. Like, you know, you have to walk. There is no bus that's going to pick you up in front of your house. You don't have food over there in school that they're going to feed you. No, if you don't have money, okay, you know what? You're screwed because you're going to be hungry. I was hungry all the time. I was like, God, I want to eat that. But you know what? Yeah, we were so poor. And kids over here, they sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, I don't like that. Oh, no, let me throw that away. But sometimes, you know, they don't know how it is to live in a third world country and to have nothing.
Can you come to my house and talk to my 3.5-year-old and explain that to him?
Well, Kristen, you don't know this, but we have set you up on the same walking journey from Honduras to Atlanta, and it starts right now.
Okay. Let me go get my
Feel the
comfy shoes
experience.
on, please.
Yes.
Blanca, you did a great job. I don't know what you were nervous about. I'm inspired every time I come in to Muse to see you, and it's no different today. And I get perspective, and I hope those that are listening get the same perspective, especially at the tail end here of Hispanic Heritage Month. You did a great job.
No, thank you so much for inviting me, Bert. So this is so exciting, especially meeting all of you guys. I was so excited to finally, I'm like, oh my God, we have been all of them.
I just want to apologize for all the words we helped you mispronounce over the years.
This probably not where
you
you
know
should
what?
come.
That's your fault, guys. Because, you were in charge to teach me everything.
That's a lot of pressure.
So you know what? If I mispronounce anything or some word, it's on you guys.
It's on you. I'm aware. We helped you mispronounce a lot of words over the years.
You definitely paid it back today. Thanks for coming in, La Patrona.
La patrona, gracias.
The Bert Show.